Okay, whatever. Hit OK. Event is starting.
Podnutz.com/live. Podnutz.com/Amazon.
Okay. Episode 487, Eric. Whenever you're ready.
I really have to type in www. Podnutz.com/live cannot be reached. Oh. If I put an N in there, it helps a lot better. What's the episode number? I'm sorry.
487.
I don't understand what's going on here. Oh, I had an N. It was in the wrong spot. This is not forgiving at all, Google. Jeez. At least you could like throw up a web search for me. 487. Oh yeah, because last week was 486. Man, my internet slow or what? Too many kids on Wi-Fi now that I bought phones for everybody. Still connected. Refresh. Are you in the chat, Dor?
Yep.
Come on, man. Why ain't you coming up?
An easy solution, which is just turn off Wi-Fi on the router. Yeah, just saying.
Yeah, but then they'll be costing me in data. I don't think that should be the issue, though. I'm hardwired. It just is not loading. Let me try it in Firefox, I guess. This could be the new computer, since with the new Compave, maybe. Yeah, got right into Firefox. That's good. Close that. You ready, Dor?
Sure.
About time. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Android App Addicts, episode number 487. This is the Android podcast where we talk about apps and we talk about hardware. Also, we talk about stuff. This is the Android podcast. This is the only Android apps podcast that features the DoorToDoorGeek, Steve McLaughlin. Dor, how are you, sir?
No, doing okay, I guess. Halloween, kids wanted to walk around. We ended up with my two kids and my new nephews, walked around for just over 2 hours. Each kid ended up with just over 7 pounds of candy.
So, have you finished uploading all of your Halloween YouTube challenges to Jimmy Kimmel Show yet? Where you acted like you ate all of their candy and filmed the reactions?
If I say yes, are you going to ask any more questions?
Yeah, I'm probably going to ask you a lot of questions, but
Well, no, I didn't
you
upload
didn't.
anything. No, I'm not gonna.
Oh,
Yeah,
have you ever watched those?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh
I
my
don't.
gosh, Dor, they're hilarious.
I don't watch anything that basically appears on television.
Okay, so these parents say, "Hey, Billy, I'm sorry. While you were at school today, I ate all of your Halloween candy." And they just have like a camera recording what happens after that. You know, parents apologizing for doing such a thing. It's pretty funny usually.
Gotcha.
Okay, never mind. What did your kids dress up as?
The oldest went as Majora, or actually Skull Kid, technically, because he's kind of technically anal. Skull Kid from Legend of Zelda, Ma Majora's Mask, and he 3D printed and built the mask. Um,
Nice.
went as him. My youngest just went as Luigi and would not stop throwing his hat everywhere. People who know about the Nintendo Switch know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Mario Odyssey, there's no mushrooms, there's no power-ups you can get. Instead, your hat is alive. You can throw it, hit people, throw it, jump on it, throw it, and possess other creatures.
So
Um,
is that the new Mario that just came out?
the new, and my son beat it in like the second day he had it.
What?
Well, the second day he played for 12 hours straight.
So I keep okay. Let's rewind. First, I
Mhm.
thought you said you told your kids they weren't going to get that.
I told them close. I told them I wasn't going to buy it.
Okay, so they pooled their funds together and they bought it.
He had his own card with his own money on it, and he bought it.
Okay, so secondly, I've heard some amazing things that this game is just awesome. It's like it's an open world. You can go do whatever you want and go collect. What do you collect in there? Hearts or shields
Um,
or
Moons.
moons? Yes, moons.
Yeah.
So I hear what are your impressions of this game, Dor?
Well, quick tangent diversion. Nintendo is truly a next generation game developer, and a lot of people who play, especially PC Master Race, all hail, don't understand what anything I'm going to say, and they're just going to say it's poppycock, and I'm a Nintendo fanboy. But Nintendo is a true next generation game designer. No one is designing games even remotely close to what they're doing. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild was purposefully built to take advantage, basically, of people with ADD. They purposely knew you had to go from A to B. It would take you 5, 10, 20 minutes to get from A to B, but every 3 seconds, they wanted a distraction to be available in your screen of one kind or another. So with people with ADD, something that would normally take 5, 10 minutes would take 3 hours because distraction, distraction, distraction. In this game, it's a pleasure center overexciter. If anyone remembers Super Mario 64, one of the biggest annoyances about that game was when you went into a level, you had to pick what you were going for. You went, you got that star at the end, and then you had to reset. You got kicked out of the level, had to start over. In this one, you dropped into a land, you see a moon, find a moon, get the moon, keep going. Find another moon, keep going. Find another moon, and you just keep going. And I think I heard there's 900 moons they believe in the game total. It only took 100 and something to technically beat the game.
But the moons are not all just like placed here randomly.
Kind of.
There's like isn't there like mini games you have to work on to get the moon to earn the moons or to get to the moon sometimes?
They're everywhere in all sizes. Some of them are by bosses, mini bosses, big bosses. Some of them are just hidden under like a glowy part of the ground. Some of it you have to do a task reward type system. Some of them are mini games. One of the mini games is you have to control a RC car and get it to the end of the thing, and voila, you get yourself a moon. On one of them, you have to basically go through a tank battle and hop in the tank, possess the tank, shoot the other tanks, and find all the pieces to the moon. You get a moon. It's ridiculous the amount of content I'll say in this game. And because every 3 minutes, I hear the kids just laughing, screaming, cheering because they got another moon.
Hmm. So though he beat it in 2 days,
Mhm.
how
Oh,
many How much
So
time?
no,
Oh,
no. Here's the other big difference. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. You beat it. Next time you go play it, you're before where you beat it. There's nothing after beating it. This game is the complete opposite. Once you beat it, you actually only did at most 66% of the game. Most people only do around 33 to 40% of the game. So after you beat it, you can then go back and do insane amounts of stuff.
I watched a couple very short video clips of it, and I kind of thought it was almost like Grand Theft Auto-ish, where you can just walk around and run around wherever you want to, sorta, and do
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, kind of.
Open world, I guess.
Open continents is the way I'll put it. In Grand Theft Auto, typically you're dropped into a city and you can do stuff. In this one, there's different lands. There's a desert land, a jungle land, New Donk City, where Pauline from Donkey Kong is the mayor, and
Hmm, that's
it's
funny.
it like harkens back to every Mario game in the past, including there's 2D stages where you go through a warp pipe and then you're in a 2D level where you can't go backwards and forwards, just side to side and jump up and down.
Huh, neat.
Mhm. Everyone already is saying game of the year. I'm not going to say that yet. I'll say it's a great game.
Cool. So I asked my son, how we've always had this ongoing talk about the Nintendo Switch. And it is actually available right now for people to if you need to get a Switch before Christmas, now's the time to get it. I think Newegg's got them in stock and a couple other places. So get them now before the before the Halloween, before the Christmas and Thanksgiving rush happens for your Christmas gifts. If you plan on getting them, doing it early. Um, but I asked him, I go, so are all your friends psyched about the new Mario game coming out? He's like, still no clue. I mean, I don't know. He has no connection to this console yet, and he's my only teenager I have to reference.
Well, I mean, does he play any games?
He plays Xbox. I mean, he just as of like today or
Okay.
tomorrow, World War II comes out.
Well, then the three games that who might grab his attention is Skyrim is coming out November, whatever. Technically a 6-year-old game, I want to say, but that's coming out. Some people like the idea of that playing it portable. You can carry it around and play it with you. Can't do that with any Xbox. Um, the other one, Doom is coming out also November. Who doesn't like Doom? When you
Mm.
like video games, you like Doom. And then the third is Rocket League. Rocket League seems to
Mm.
be a sensational hit on all platforms.
Oh yeah.
And the logic is if you can play that, then while on the go, there's nothing else on the market that you can walk into a store and buy and can do that, unless, of course, you want to carry around a laptop.
I see a lot of Rocket League well, maybe not recently, but yes, I've seen a lot of Rocket League get played in this house.
Well, and the other big plus to that game is it's going to be cross-device playable. So I'll be able to play people on PC. I'm thinking it's on PS4 as well and Xbox.
Have you ever played it?
Nope.
You know the premise of it though.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
soccer and demolition derby put together.
Yeah. Yeah. With a gigantic soccer ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool I've never actually played it. I've watched my son play it a lot. So it looks really fun. I don't know. I would probably get my butt handed to me by a bunch of teenagers the first time I get into a room with it.
Trust me, I'm sure I would as well. One of the things they said that they're going to do is, when you join, you have basically a score on what you're doing, how good you're doing, and you will be matched with similar like people unless you specifically say you want to join this room kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what has to happen.
Oh yeah, or else it's going to be a slaughter fest.
So, we don't have Mark tonight. And Mark is responsible for this thing that we have going on. So, those of you who did not tune in last week. Oh, wait, should we talk about this? Yeah, no, we'll talk about this first. So, those of you who didn't tune in last week, Mark had made a bit of a pledge for Patreon subscribers if we got to a certain amount. Do you remember what it was? Was it 500 a month?
I believe he said 500 for at least 2 months.
Yeah, 500 for 2 or 3 months, I think. If we got to 500 a month on Patreon for 2 to 3 months, he was gonna take his own money, buy a 3D printer, and then 3D print memorabilia for all of our Patreon supporters. So that And he also shamed everybody, badly for, not even giving a quarter to the show when, basically 25, what is it, 2% of
Less
our
than what?
listeners, less than 1% of our listeners were donating anything to the show that we don't have any money coming in for because we don't play ads ever on this show so far. So he shamed him a bit and it worked. I mean, so I'm just going to do a quick call out to some Patreon subscribers, thanking them for stepping up, and the rest of you can do the same thing. I want to get a piece of Mark's memorabilia off of a 3D printer. I just think it would be great to have that guy with a 3D printer anyway. So I am going to say, I'm just going to go down. Should I say first and last names, Door?
I don't like saying people's last names
Yeah, you know what?
unless they're
I'm
already a public figure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say just their first names, and if they want to, for us to say it again next time and say their last name, and I'll say it again then, in case they want to say, save it as a notification on their ringtone or whatever. So, Joseph and Mike and Chuck and John and Daniel and Greg and John again and Chris, Charlie, Craig, Randy. I think that's about all of them so far. Thank you for supporting the show. We really appreciate it, and all of your different amounts. I'm just gonna click through here. My thoughts on the lack of Patreons by Charlie. He says, "Hey, Door, podcasters and app developers have a similar dilemma: how to convert someone from free to paid. Shaming the listeners will have the opposite effect. Nowadays, it's not enough to have an excellent product. You need to create desire. Early access to the episode is not interesting to me. I only listen to a podcast episode when it appears in my podcast app. I doubt I'm the only one that feels this way. 3, intelligent alternative thinking techno-minded people should be able to come up with some rewards that would make the people want to click become a Patreon button. In simpler terms, stop whining. I'm going to say whining because he put a different word, and start thinking. By the way, in case you've not heard of this, I'm also a Patreon of podsync.net. The site turns YouTube channels into video podcasts. I never have to go to YouTube. The videos are automatically downloaded to my podcast app. If you need suggestions, let me know. Regards, Charlie. Oh, that's different. So I know that being the YouTube Red subscriber, we can download YouTube content. I didn't realize that there was an app that did it too.
Well, you don't need an app. If you use Podcast Addict, you can just go into add a new podcast and add a YouTube channel name and do it all right there in the app seamlessly. I believe most other podcasting apps will actually do that as well. So I'm not sure who needs that. I'll say, if you use standalone desktop ones, you probably do need that player. I'll also say, I would say he's right. Except for the fact in 4 days we have 6 new Patreons. So
but we offered him something.
Well, but they didn't run away. No one said anything negative about us, and as far as I could tell, at least so far, download numbers have not went down. Personally, I'm very okay with the podcast download numbers shooting down 90%. And while still having another 1% bump in people on Patreon, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Download.
I guess. I mean, it's not a popularity contest, I guess.
Well, nothing is a popularity contest unless you're running for office. We're not running for office.
Right.
Download numbers are nice. They're nice. And I tried to explain to someone on a Google Plus community, the number of shares isn't important. The number of impressions there aren't important. And to be quite honest, the number of downloads are not important. What matters is how much actual engaged feedback do you get. That's how you measure your audience, because what you need to measure is your passion. If you have 1 million people downloading, but they don't really listen to anything that you say because you're just background fodder, that means something. It should mean something. I would much rather have 100 dedicated listeners than 10,000 people who never send an email or write back on a Patreon post. So first off, Charlie, thank you. It took passion to write this and to be a Patreon. You're not just some slack off the street, just bad mouthing people. You put down an intelligent communication to us. So thank you first and foremost for that. But unfortunately, if Mark was here, Mark would say, thank you, but you're wrong. We have 6 new Patreons. He's going to now feel more justified in saying it. So what I'm going to ask him to do privately is let's take a week or 2 off from doing that. You know,
I kind of agree with you, Dor. I'm more of the thing where, not everybody wants to put themselves out there. Some people just want to sit back and listen to a podcast or two and not engage. Sometimes not everybody has to have feedback. Some people just like to enjoy content and be a consumer of it. And I'm okay with that. I don't think, because we don't have ads, we don't, I like that we have more subscribers. But we don't need to justify those numbers to an advertiser or some kind of group trying to monetize our numbers. I know that we've got a lot of people who just listen, and that's fine. I mean, I don't engage with any of the other podcasts I listen to much. I just don't, I might think something in my head, but by the time I get, usually the podcast players in my pocket, I've got headphones on or I'm in my car. There's no way for me to jot down my thought of something they just said. I'm a consumer most of the time, other than when I'm on the Android App Addicts show. I mean, I used to be a producer of Podnutz when I had my shop and things like that, but I don't write into, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't write into them, sometimes I just like to be a consumer.
well, I understand that. And I'll say we try to make it easy for people. 7076 Podnut. You can be in your car driving and you can leave a message, or you can be walking your dog, and you can call us up and leave a voicemail. We try to make sure the channels are open. I'll also state this just tangentially. Podcasters who don't make an effort to communicate with people that attempt to communicate with them, shame on you.
Now that's true. I agree there.
That's tenfold more shameful than us asking people repetitively, I'll say, to join our Patreon. That to me is unbelievably wrong. And the people who start up podcasting for the sole reason to make money is the next group of people. We're just shame on you. You. If you're only doing it for money, I only hope you get exactly what you deserve, which is complete failure.
I think the people who do step out of their comfort zone or are okay communicating with us, they realize that they are our buddies. They're not just our subscribers or our listeners or our little people. They know. I mean, anybody who's tried to talk to us and said, "Hey, you're an idiot," or "Hey, you're a genius about this point or that." There's a whole dialogue that happens afterwards, because we're just thrilled to be here and to, like you said, to be engaged and in conversation with the people who enjoy listening.
Well, yeah, and like my example is Randy, the last guy to join our Patreon, as right now goes. He does not send a lot of communications to Podnutz over the years, but I can tell you for damn sure when he did, I said, I know that name. I know that name. I went back and looked, and yeah, he sent maybe 2 emails in 7 years or something like that. I figured it wasn't a lot, is what I'm saying.
Randy, and his last name starts with an N?
No, D.
Oh, okay.
No. Randy N is not a Patreon. I don't think. No, brain hurt.
Anyway,
brain hurt.
That was the Randy that came to my mind, who is a listener who has interacted a lot.
Well, this guy's only interacted a couple times. I'll say this. The best thing you can do for any podcast out there is provide feedback. And that's what Charlie did. Charlie went over above and beyond, and he said both positive and negative things in his email. Because if you say something negative, Mark always says, say something positive. And he did. So he followed the handbook to a T. So I got to, again, say thank you, Charlie. I do encourage you, check out Podcast Addict. If you use your Android device as a podcatching device, you don't need any other external software. You can just sub to a entire channel on YouTube and you'll get all the all the videos and content they have right there without any extra work and without any extra software involved. In my opinion, the more software you have in any workflow, the greater chance of failure. And I'll say, if you knew me, Charlie, you would know the worst thing I could do is promise shipping somebody something.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of a shipment from Door. Yeah, yes, definitely. Hopefully, Mark can pick up that ball and run with it where you may have dropped it.
Anybody's better than me. I will say that because when I leave, the post office is closed. When I come home, the post office is closed. The closest post office to my work takes a lunch between noon and 3 o'clock. And when there's one person in front of me in line, I've waited for an hour to be seen.
We've heard this excuse at Store.
Oh, it's
there's
true.
There's more than one place to mail.
It's true. I will give you the address after the fact. You can look on, I believe it is Yelp, and you can see the reviews for that post office. It is hysterically bad.
For a post office. That's on Yelp. They just don't seem right.
Yeah. We do have actually 2 emails, one from Adam, one from Frederick. Did you want to hold off on them or do them right now?
No, we'll read them. Because Adam's talking directly to me, so I need to talk directly back at him, I think. So, wow, that's weird. Talk directly back at him. Get it?
Right, anyway. I didn't. That's good.
Curse you, Eric, the manager Ardini. After hearing you repeatedly mention BBTAN on Android App Addicts, I decided to download the game and give it a try. Now I really can't stop playing this app equivalent to crack cocaine. Damn you 1,000 times. Oh, and what is your high score? Battery 9% due to nonstop BBTAN. Sleep deprived in England. Over the pond geek. So I sent him a screenshot of my BBTAN after that. And I said, Adam, I have this. And I'm still on the same game. And this is about a week ago. I think in that screenshot, my high score was 970.
Yep.
My top score was 543. When I took that picture, it was 970. It's now over 1100 as far as my score. I'm feeling them, man. It is bad. Now he is not. So he said, here's my new best score is 122. Now, it's not fair because Adam is playing the old version of BBTAN. He's not playing the 7 years version, which I'm playing. So the numbers are skewed. Don't make it sound like because I got 1100 and Adam's got 100. We're not really playing the same game. It's the same name, but a different version of the game and a different scoring method because mine is this is a totally different game.
So here's a dumb question, Eric. If you were to start a new game on the one you're playing right now, how long time-wise can that one game last?
This game I'm on now is about a month long right now.
Oh my goodness.
That's how long. Once you get that many balls in your arsenal to shoot at these squares, each throw, each time you go lasts 5 minutes maybe.
Oh my God.
So you just set the phone down and let it do its thing. Go to your other phone. Hopefully you have a second phone, because if you move away from that window, you're not gonna, it's gonna stop. So you basically just leave that phone screen on, plugged in nonstop all night long.
Eric.
So yeah.
I love you, but man, you legitimately have a problem, dude.
When he says it's the app equivalent to crack, he is not lying, man. This thing is the most. I'm not a gamer. I'm going to say that again, but this thing is the most addictive game I've ever played, and it's not like it's still a background game. You don't have to focus all of your energies to this game. You have to focus about 5 seconds of your energy every so many minutes, and then just let it do its thing.
Well, when you get that high,
yeah. So Adam, try BBTAN 7. Years.
Sure. Come on, Adam. Let's ruin some more of your life.
And then once you and when you install the free game, it's fine. You get ads. There's certain things you can't do, like when you pay for it, it's definitely probably this game has the biggest reward for buying it with cash because all the ads go away. A Super Ball, you used to have to watch a video to use. That goes away. You don't have to watch a video. And you can double speed your shots. Your balls go twice as fast, or one or two speed. So that makes it nice. Who was the other app? The other email from Door? Do you remember?
Frederick, Fredrik.
FREDRIK. Okay. I have an extra E there. I don't have his email here for some reason. Could you send that to me? I was gonna talk about while we're waiting for Frederick's email to come through, possibly any new hardware that we have to talk about, Door. How about you?
I don't have any hardware. I had to stop and think about that for a second. But I will say that new Razer phone that I believe is on pre-order today.
Yeah, Door. I wanted to talk about that.
Giddy is all I gotta say. Giddy.
Oh man, dude. That's gonna be the phone, right?
Well, okay.
8 gigs of RAM, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Slow down. One thing that we should all believe about all computing devices is a hardware is only half of the formula in the overall experience. Okay. The OS is going to matter greatly on how this device is seen and how well it performs in the real world. With that said, go ahead, Eric. 8 gigs of RAM. The 8 gigs of RAM alone is I just laugh because it was one of the big Android podcasts, and I put big in air quotes because obviously when you go to Player FM and just search Android, we're the number one podcast, just saying. One of the ones that's in that list said at one point in time, over 4 gigs of RAM is unneeded. It's kind of useless.
Yeah.
Just proved to me that he has no idea what he's talking about in no real world. Now, if he would have gave a more definitive answer and said, with the current type of Android Linux kernel having more than 4 gigs is pointless. Well, yes, you're probably exactly right. But you're dealing with manufacturers like Samsung who never program for any high-end stuff because they still haven't made any high-end stuff. Yes, I said that. Okay. Here's the specs on the Razer phone. First and foremost, no curved edges. Why? Because this is designed for people who want to cut things, not be cute and cuddly. Let's first get that out there. Sharp edges. You could cut cheese with this thing. Because it is the old Next Bit Robin. They bought that team, so it looks kind of like that phone. Okay. 5.7, 1440 by 2560 pixels, which is you can change the resolution to 3 different settings. One of the settings I believe is even below 1080p. If you need battery life, you set it down far. If you need performance, you set it up high. Not many phones have 3 different resolutions you can pick. Most phones have 1. So
yeah, that's kind of a neat idea. If you're not gaming, let it be
right. So that's
just a phone.
Right. So that alone is a bigger difference maker right there. But then we get to 12 megapixel back camera, 8 gigabit of RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM, a Snapdragon 835, a pretty new processor. I don't believe it's the newest processor, but I believe it's right there. 4,000 milliamp battery, which is another thing that I really like a lot. The screen's refresh rate, you can again pick. I believe it was 60, 90, or 120. So again, if you need high performance screen, you turn that up, then you have a better performing device. It's not huge. It's not bulky. It has no headphone jack. That's the one failing. It does have dual front-facing speakers, which is sexy. It has USB-C connector.
They're THX certified speakers too.
Thank you. Yes. THX certified speakers in the phone. It does have a nano SIM and the availability to use a micro SD card as well. That's another plus, I think. There was at least 1 or 2 other features with it. Gorilla Glass 3, because of the speakers, there's no IP rating. So this is not dust protective, water protective kind of thing. You can't submerge this phone. It has a octa-core processor in it. Don't know if I said
Did you
that.
say that it doesn't have a headphone jack?
No headphone jack, yeah.
That's kind of bummer. That
Oh, it is, but um, it will not run on Verizon and Sprint, and the reason is because those networks suck. So I can't blame it for not running on those networks at
all
all,
right.
at all.
Eh.
Verizon has lost its advantage over the last year. They're not growing close to as fast as anybody else. The only one substantially growing is T-Mobile because they are being disruptive. So it supports AT&T and T-Mobile, those kinds of carriers. It comes with standard 64 gig of internal storage. That's good. It ain't fantastic, but that's good. Expected price, I want to say, was $699.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll say this. I really like the sound of this phone a lot. I said, I'm not going to buy a phone without a headphone jack. I'm going to vote with my dollar. Well,
I gotta say, I've already used the headphone jack in my Pixel, and I'm kind of glad I didn't get the Pixel 2 because I would have not been able to use it then.
I honestly don't care.
Well, my use case for a headphone jack is mowing. I mow the yard and I listen to podcasts during my mowing, and
So why do you have to have a physical jack for that?
Because I don't have any Bluetooth headphones that
Well,
are loud enough to get over the sound of my mower.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if Bluetooth are naturally less volume. I'm not going to say they are not because I don't know.
All the ones I've owned sucked. I haven't, but not.
No,
I haven't
Eric,
spent $80 on a pair. I know.
Have you spent? I love you. I know you.
But
You
I haven't spent $80 on a pair of headphones either, though.
You got them off of Amazon Review Trader,
which I may have gotten my plug-in headphones that do cover the sound of a mower. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still don't want to own a device that does not have a headphone jack out of spite. I will say that. I only use it in one place. That's in the minivan because I have a cassette deck, and it's a 10-year-old plus minivan. It has a cassette deck in it with a fake cassette tape going in with the cable, the wire coming out to the phone.
And you can get around that so easily with a Bluetooth adapter, FM transmitter, and that's what I use in all my cars.
Well, and that's what I would end up using if I get a device that doesn't have a headphone jack. So I'm going to actively try to not get a phone that doesn't have a headphone jack. With that said, I can't buy this device day one no matter what. I can't. I shouldn't. Right. I can't. So even if I do get it, it's going to be months down the road. And honestly, I'm going to try to make sure my next device has a headphone jack, literally because of spite. I want to vote with my dollar, but damn.
Well, look at the essential phone.
Oh,
it was what a piece of junk day one, but it sounds like it's coming around from some later reviews.
I don't care if it is. The company's not going to exist shortly.
It sounds like it's kind of a upstanding phone now that they've fixed a lot of their issues.
I mean, I believe the product is fine. Right. I believe the product is fine. I believe Andy's a smart guy. I believe he has nothing but the best of intentions, but I don't think he surrounded himself with the right people initially, or else they would not have shipped a product of that type. It would have been better. It would have been more polished. I'm sure part of it was they overpromised, and the one thing you can't do is overpromise. I hate saying this. I hate saying this. I'm going to quote Steve Jobs. I hate Steve Jobs. If he was still alive, I'd happily punch him. But under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Make sure whatever you say is you're not blowing up their expectations. And that's what Andy did. He made everyone's expectations too high. I'm sure it's a fine device. I'm also sure I'm never going to buy it.
Honestly, if I could use it on Fi, I would. Because it's, I don't know. I like the different things. I like something that's a little different than everybody.
I know, but how many phones can you say that about? There's at least, I would say, 8 or 10 phones. If you had the option to run on Fi, you probably would.
I would say that one and the Razor were the only two other than, there's no phones that I really lust after. You know what I mean?
Lust is a strong word there, Huck.
Well, I mean,
I turn into a Southern preacher. You use the word lust.
There's a lot of phones that are just meh, whatever. I could take it or leave it. That one, for some reason intrigued me along with this Razor one because this Razor one. I want to let it sit right next to my keyboard and my mouse, and let the back of that thing just glow and pulsate red, and right in sync with my mouse and keyboard.
Eric,
Is there going to be a glowing thing on the back of this phone?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything you said, but I did read a comment in the chat that said, please pledge to Patreon so Eric can buy some damn Bluetooth headphones.
I've got some damned ones. I need to buy some good ones.
No, I'm 99% sure the logo on the back does not glow at all, but it is very shiny. It's shiny. It's shiny.
See, now I just want it to glow. That little squid thing. I want it to glow red.
I listened to a horribly bloviated blowheart podcast, like a 30-second podcast today, where they were talking about the notch in the iPhone 10. And I'm calling it the iPhone 10 because it's, that's what it is.
Okay.
He said, I understand the reason for it now. The reason is so when you pull it out of your pocket, people can say, is that the new one? Kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Which is the only reason to have the notch. Let's just sit there. Okay. And that's the other reason why I like this phone. This Razor phone is it's a square, boxy, cut like steel, not some rounded, curly, girl-edged device with soft edges. I don't want soft edges. I want rugged. I mean, if I could, I'll put sandpaper on the side of it.
This phone reminds me of the phone case that you had when you came to Chicago, and basically it was like two pieces of tin that somehow barely held themselves together around your phone. It looked like you could just pick up Door's phone and cut yourself with it because it was so sharp. Yeah. And then he actually dropped it, and it broke into like 4 pieces all over the floor. And it was like, oh yeah, now you got to reassemble this erector set of a phone case again.
Well, first off, let's say I dropped it. It sounded horrible. It sounded disgusting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then as soon as I dropped it, I picked it up. I slapped it back together in like 3 seconds. Immediately dropped it again. The horrible sound again. Picked it up, slapped it together again. 10 seconds later, dropped it again. Obviously, I was drinking, but the phone was fine. It was my 1+1.
Yeah.
And that's what a good case is supposed to do. And I was very happy I bought that case. And this phone kind of does remind me of that a little bit. But this has the dual front facing speakers, honestly. And here's the only real use case I have for those speakers is when I come downstairs in the morning and the one kid's eating a bowl of cereal and the other one is being all grumpy, eating his cup of cereal because he can't have milk because he's a little fluffy. And then I just become annoying and I just all of a sudden just open up my OK Schmoogle, play Weird Al Yankovic, and I set the phone down and turn it up all the way. Because it's nothing Weird Al does is sad or mean. It's all playful fun. Let's get happy. Come on, we're gonna have a good day. So I do that, and they get so annoyed. Oh, they try to go crazy.
Sometimes I think of Nature Trail to Hell in 3D song. I don't know. That one pops in my head a lot for some reason.
Okay.
Remember that one? No,
I know that one. You did get the email from
Frederick? Yeah. So Frederick presented an app. It's called BOINC, BOINC, and it says this.
And bionic. Oh no, you're right. The O and the I are backwards. Dyslexia, man.
So it's BOINC, BOINC. It's by Space Sciences Laboratory, UC Berkeley. And he says this app crunches data for scientists in order to help solve things such as cancer, green energy, malaria, etc., all while the phone's charging and has the screen off at night, basically. So this is kind of like folding at home, but the Android cell phone version of that, I'm guessing, right? It's maybe not solving the same problems as folding at home was, but basically it's using your computers or your cell phone's unused CPU cycles to do research and work while you're not using it.
Yeah. I like the fact that it does it when your phone's charging, which basically means it's safe to use power, safe to use energy. I would say this is basically, as far as I can tell, just like folding at home, except folding at home is doing it only with proteins. And I do believe one of the things they're looking for is how sometimes folding proteins can cause cancer. So their stuff might be a little bit overlapping.
Yeah, it looks like on this one you get to choose your communities that you're helping. Yo-Yo at home, World Community Grid, Prime Grid, Enigma at home, O Project at home, and the Skynet Pogs, Asteroids at home, and Einstein at home. You'd have to look into those to see what they were, I guess. But
I believe they're just groups. You have the same thing in Folding at Home. You can have groups you donate your cycles to. And basically it's because people are trying to get high score. Groups are trying to get high score on the server. So it wouldn't shock me if this is kind of the same technology. I do believe since Folding it at home, when home, it wouldn't shock me if they're using some of the basic same source code, to be honest.
yeah,
But that's cool. Very good app, Frederick. And every time I say Frederick now, I can't stop thinking Young Frankenstein. Froderick.
Right.
Do you pronounce it Froderick? Sorry.
So, no, that's fine. I've got some hardware news. So I was going to come to this episode of the Android App Addicts podcast and plead to our listeners for any used Google Fi eligible devices that they may have sitting around, or if they want to upgrade, they could sell me. I was going to try to buy a used phone off of our listeners. I did already put it up in our Android App Addicts Club Google Plus forum. Didn't get any responses really as far as people who had them available. So I found another one on the face bag this week, and I gotta say, I bought it. So here's the whole deal. I'm, due to unfortunate circumstances, I had to buy 3 phones and switch my whole family over to Project Fi suddenly. I wasn't expecting it, right? And I had already put in a pre-order for the Pixel 2. So I actually kind of got broke, canceled my Pixel 2 order, and then this unfortunate incident happened. So here's what I ended up buying: 2 Nexus 6Ps, one off of Swappa for $200. And then I just bought one from a really cool dude named Kyle in DeKalb, Illinois, who may be listening to our podcast on a train, either coming to or from Arizona right now. Just saying, because I talked with this guy last night, and he's a really, really nice guy. Bought his 6P off him for $120, and then I also bought a Pixel XL, the first one, off of a lady who was on her break at John Deere's factory in Moline for $250. So I bought 2 6Ps and a Pixel XL for $100 less than that one Pixel 2 was going to cost me. So I furnished phones for my entire family for $100 cheaper than one new phone would have cost. Still giving my daughter my 5X that I was using, which was working just fine. So yeah, we're all Nexus and pixeled up. We're all on the Project Fi.
Right. So that's
SIM cards came in the mail.
4 people on Fi.
4 people on Fi. Yep.
And your bill's going to be less than $100.
Yes. Yeah. It'll be less than $100.
That is amazing. To me, that is amazing. That is genuinely amazing. Because most people, when you think 4 phones, some people are paying well over $200.
And the thing is, these are 4 decent phones. My bill before was more with my wife and daughter being on dumb phones, not even any internet connection type phones at all. Yeah. So I think I don't know if it'll tell me. I think it tells me like the what you're possibly going to be paying. And I think it was around $80 is what they were estimating my bill to be. But it all depends. I mean, if like my daughter did not realize that she had her Wi-Fi turned off, and she was watching YouTube videos in the house so that's $13 right there. That's 1.3 gigs of YouTube videos. That's $13. Well, but it's so easy for them to just to monitor that.
Do the phones have there's 3 things you can do. I'll say, if the phones have NFC, you can set up NFC tags by the door, just saying in and out. and then you can have them programmed to turn on and off the Wi-Fi, or you
It
can try to look at like a tasker type solution to automatically turn on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Google's already got that. I mean, when it
Well,
knows when you're at home, you can set that stuff up through like just knowing when as soon as you hit your local Wi-Fi
well,
that's
that's the
in your
thing.
house.
Does she leave the Wi-Fi on, or does she purposely turn it off?
No, she accidentally turned it off.
Ah, ah, ah.
Yeah, no, it's always going to be on. And it's decent. The one good thing about Xfinity Wi-Fi too, I'm not a big fan of Xfinity, is okay, Door. So I take that back. It will be $105
Gotcha.
if everybody stays at one gig per month. Which I went from 12 gigs and I stay under a gig every month. If I can do it, I'm an Android app addict. If I can do it, these guys can, I think. So yeah, if everybody stays at a gig, and if they go less than a gig, if everybody does a half a gig, that's $20 cheaper even.
Well,
You know what I mean? They only pay per, they don't round up with Google
yeah.
Fi.
As long as BBTAN 7 years isn't using data, you're fine.
Uses no data. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if everybody uses 1 gig, I'm at 65 for the basics, which is the phone and texting, and $40 for data. So yeah, so I'm happy. I think my only concern would be with those two 6Ps is batteries. They're 2 years old now. That's about, where the batteries will get heavy. I may look into, swapping batteries out in them. 6P is not a bad phone.
Yeah.
It's 3 gigs of RAM.
Um,
It's pretty decent. It's got dual front firing speakers on it.
Yeah. I don't want to say it like this, Eric. The only thing I heard of possible negativity about that phone is you better make sure it's in a decent case, because that back piece of glass on the top can like be broke.
Right. Right. Yes. No, I could see that. And both of them came in the case from the original owners. The dude actually, Kyle, he goes, I got a whole story. I mean, this Kyle guy, he was not a listener, but he had Podcast Addict installed on his phone, and he had I think 20-hour train ride coming ahead of him the next day. So yeah, so he's added our show. I talked to him, and and I'll tell you what, the amount of people that I see using Podcast Addict is just unreal. Everybody. So, and I didn't realize that. And I just saw on a Facebook post that they reached 1 billion downloads of podcasts. 1 billion episodes have been downloaded now
Well,
off of Podcast Addict.
I'll just say I've done my part, Eric.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah. So he told me that the 6P that my son now owns has been to 20 countries.
Ooh.
And he's never dropped it.
Wow.
There was a little chunk out of the corner of his case, but that was because it got caught on the stud of his jeans, and he pulled, and it kind of ripped the corner off.
Yeah, I'll give everyone my Podcast Addict stats for this week. Today, 18 hours, 25 minutes of podcast. Yesterday, 22 hours, 23 minutes of podcast. This week, 3 days, 20 hours of podcast. This week started 3 days ago. 3 days ago. Last week, 5 days, 14 hours of podcast. November, 1 day, 6 hours, because, but in the month of October, 19 days and 9 hours of podcast. So I've done my part to hit that high number of downloaded podcasts.
So when you were talking about where you listened to this podcast for 30 seconds, it was probably honestly like a 15-minute long podcast, but because you do it like at the speed you do, it's a 30-second podcast.
It was like maybe a 3-minute podcast. So yeah, it was probably like a 10-minute podcast. It was basically just someone taking it. I don't think it might have been Spoken Edition. It might have been a article from possibly Lifehacker that was put on Spoken Edition podcast, which is basically small, short, written articles, professionally vocalized.
In the chat room, it says, you listen to podcasts almost as much as Eric plays BBTAN.
Fair.
Oh, I got one more piece of hardware news. So I don't know if I was complaining on the show last week about my left mouse button double clicking too much on, oddly enough, my Razer mouse that glowed red, pulsing with my keyboard in sync. But so it was double clicking when I wanted to single click. You know, those switches have a life. You click enough, they're going to go bad. I've had it for a few years. So I just my new piece of hardware is an MSI DS200 mouse. I got it for like 20 some bucks.
Wired?
I went to a huh? Yeah, oh yeah, it's wired.
Good man.
Yeah. It's a decent gaming mouse. It's not, you know, even though I added all of the weights to it that it came with, it's still not heavy. It's weird. And it's like it must have weighed nothing before I put these in that. But it's got the DPI controls right on the top. They change colors as you do it, so you know just at a glance. Unfortunately, the software that comes with it doesn't work on Linux, and I only run Linux on this podcast rig, so I can't change the RGB LEDs in the rest of it. But red is the color of my keyboard already, so it works.
Gotcha.
That's it for my hardware news, I think, for the week.
Okay. What I want to do is bring an app and a shout out and a thank you and a testify and a provide feedback. Please, people. Caleb Fultz, long time Podnutzians. I swear he first got introduced to Podnutz by a teacher in, I believe, high school, Doc Brown.
Yeah.
I salute Doc Brown, really good guy. And so I believe Caleb's been with Podnutz for well over 8 years. He's a man, he has a house, he has a dog, he has a job, he has a car, he's living life. He has a horror podcast. He went and he said learned some real languages and made a application for us, Podnutz in Your Pocket by SipNet Apps. Tools. E for Everyone does contain ads, does contain in-app purchases. Right now, you can't even do an in-app purchase. It's so new of an application. All the ads basically go to help paying his fees. He had to pay money to have an account on Google Play. It's taken him time to do this, so all proceeds are going to support him. It was released like yesterday, I believe. 3 reviews in the market, 5.0 average review, surprise, surprise. Updated November 2nd, between 10 and 50 installs, version 1.2.3. Basically, what this lets you do is keep track of right now the Podnutz RSS feeds. You can click and you can look at either all shows or you can look at any of the individual shows and you can instantly access all of the notes. I will say first and foremost, before I go any further, Tim left us a review for this in Google Play. Tim, I salute you. You're the man. I work with him. He is almost the only person I work with that I genuinely respect. Because this guy bust his hump. That's all I got to say. This guy knows his job and he busts his hump. And I know when someone says Tim is working on it, I ain't got to stress at all. So thank you very much, Tim. The second review I see is by Chris. Chris is a longtime Patreon, longtime friend up there in the Great White North. So thank you all for the reviews, guys. That definitely helps our Google Play ranking. I'm going to say it's a very new app. If I encourage people to download this app really for a couple of reasons. One, support those who support you. Caleb went out of his way to make this app. Now you have instant access to the entire history of show notes for all the Podnutz podcast. You will be able to do more functionality as time goes on. He does plan on doing other things like actually letting you listen to the RSS feeds, and he's looking at a way to automatically notify people when shows go live. So that's awesome. And there's more stuff he plans on implementing. It's a question of time. And I will say the easiest way to get somebody to do something is to shove money at them. So download the app, open the app, let the ads roll for a little bit. When he has the in-app purchase thing going, if you want to see more functionality in this app, if you bribe him with this thing we call money, I'm sure he'll want to do more things quicker. So I really just got to say thank you to Caleb. Podnutz in Your Pocket is the app name. He's the man.
You know, I can't wait till he puts the donate button on there. I'm ready. I can't wait to see where this app goes. Did he not make an app for us a long time ago?
He made an Android App Addicts app, and that's what this was going to be. This was
Yeah,
going to
that's
be
funny too. Yeah.
right. This was going to be a second iteration of an Android App Addicts app. Then he basically found out, well, why? I can just add this thing here, and then bam, I can do the entire network. So,
Well, plus Chrome, Google said you can't use the word Android.
can't use the word Podnutz.
Can you really?
And then I had to send him an email from a genuine Podnutz email account saying, Caleb Foltz represents Podnutz in everything Google Play related, basically, kind of thing.
Oh, so they were protecting you.
It turns out
Well, that's nice.
Podnutz was a big enough brand for them to say you can't use that name.
Well, that's good. Okay, I thought it was Android App Addicts, and he couldn't use the word Android. Okay.
The first app, I want to say he did get in trouble for that.
Okay. So keep Door and the rest of the crew in your pocket with Podnutz in your pocket. That's cool. Is that? I thought I saw a little joke on here that I wanted to read, but he must have changed something up because there was something like, is that an app in your pocket or something? I don't know. I thought there was some kind of a thing that he had put on here, but thank you, Caleb. It's very cool. And Caleb is SipNet Apps. If anybody's looking for this, and his ScatterRoller was another one he brought recently. And he emailed me. I didn't know what he was trying to do with this, and so I felt bad because I'm like, well, I guess I've never played Scatter. And he's like, no, it's for categories, dummy. So the ScatterRoller is an app that he also made, so you could play categories in your car. You don't have to roll out a dice, or if you lose your category dice, you can use this app too. I think that's an accurate description of the app.
I'm not positive. I think it is too. I do remember the game. I don't remember ever actually playing it myself. Mainly because I can't play any board games, because if my wife beats me, she'll never let me forget it. So I don't play any games with her anymore.
That's simple. Just beat her.
She's a sore winner.
Why don't you just stop losing?
Because she might cheat, and my vision's bad and I won't see it, and that's my excuse, and you can't prove me wrong. Because my wife is smarter than me, Eric. Let's just get that out there. Fine. You made me say it. That's okay. I married someone smarter than me.
Okay. I'll let you say that.
That's a large weight off my chest, Eric. Thank you.
I might have an app. I do have an app. Here, let me grab it here.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah.
Do you maybe have an app for the show?
I've got an app for the show.
An app.
I've been busy. I've been on Facebook researching and tracking down and none of these phones were anywhere within 100. Well, they were within 100 miles, just both of them. I drove a long distance one way for one of the phones, and I drove a long distance the other way for the other one, but worth every mile, even in the rain and sleet yesterday. It was worth it. So this is an app that is for Android Wear, and it is called LookBehind for Android Wear, and the icon for it is a rearview mirror, which is not really accurate. This app, okay, so I've talked to you. What, Dor?
You can't put links that make it want to install.
Why would it want to install?
Because the link you put in the notes, as soon as you hit it, it launches and then it tries to install. Gotta be careful.
It tries to install on your computer?
If you read the URL, it's where.lookbehind, then ampersand HL equals EN equals RDID.com, which means install. But anybody who clicks that link, it's going to automatically try to install on their device.
So it's not just a link to the app.
Yeah, just the link to the app is always shorter.
You
freaked me out. I clicked it. I'm like, what's happening to my computer? I'm on Linux. I don't have a virus.
So do you have a good link for me? Do I need to cut something off the end? Oh, you did. Okay, you got it.
Okay. I got you.
You got me, man. Okay, so this, I've talked about these what do they call it? Like cameras on a stick, basically, is what I'm gonna say. They are a boroscope. Remember I've talked about the boroscope I bought? No?
Quickie, first off, I'm taken back, Eric. Fingers, look behind. I'm just slightly. What the hell are you talking about, boroscope? What the hell are you? I don't know what that is. I told you my wife was smarter than me. Stop confusing me.
Okay, so a boroscope is basically like a rope or a stick or somewhere in between the two things, like a semi-stiff rope with a camera and an LED light at the end of it. And you can slide it into
like the anal probe.
Well, not well. I mean, anal camera, I guess, if you want to go with. I mean, I wasn't going there, Door. I wasn't gonna say that word with it, but if you wanna use it that way, that's fine. But I was using it for like finding things under a cabinet or going down into plumbing and seeing where the clog is,
Going down into plumbing.
or honestly, I bought the last one just to use on my RV because the hose had a kink in it, and I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. My water wasn't filling. I had to figure it out. So anyway, this, if you don't want to go out and buy that piece of hardware of which they're really reasonable, you can get them for like $16 now, and they're just USB or Bluetooth, and they go right over to your phone. This LookBehind app is basically, if you have an Android Wear device, that becomes your phone screen, and you can then take, because most phones have like the camera right up at the top corner of it. So you could kind of like set your phone over the edge of the cabinet if you need to look behind something, like behind the edge of a cabinet or under something. You can stick your phone's camera in there, and then rather than hitting, sometimes you, like I used to like hit record and then look at it later, but now I can just watch it live on my Wear device, on my watch. I can use that as my phone screen, so I can see what's going on while I have my phone like situated in a strange tight corner somewhere or whatever. That's what it does. And it works well. And you can switch front or rear if you want. Camera.
I'll just say I like the idea of this, and I'm sure if I used it, I'm sure I had this, I would find a use case for it. My example is plugging up cables to a monitor. It used to be one of the most aggravating things I had to do when hooking up mini computers and computers, until I figured out I can put my phone in selfie mode, lay it down at the foot of the monitor, and it will look up and I can see the plug, and I know exactly where the plug goes, and voila, I can plug up my HDMI, DVI, VGA really easily. I mean, the easiest I've ever done it without having to turn the monitor upside down and bend it, and it's just painful. But there's just a slight like creepy factor with this app, I'll say.
Yeah.
Just saying. But if you need a second set of eyeballs in a place where you can't get to, because I've had times where I want to use my camera, but I can't see my screen. So this would be perfect if I actually had a Android Wear watch to use those kind of things. Because like in my back room where I have my furnace, central AC stuff, I got to change the filter, and it's not easy to get back there. And I have dropped things on the other side of the system, and I can never find it. So when the house burns down or falls down, they're going to find coins and screws back there that I can't get.
Or what if you wanted to see if there's actually leaves up in your gutter, and you got a selfie stick that could get your phone just up there high enough to look up there with your arm extended and the selfie stick. You could look up in your eave spouts and just look at your phone to see if it's full of trash or not. Things like that, that kind of stuff. Gotcha. Or stick it up. Or if you're afraid of your attic, you could just stick a selfie stick up there with the camera light on and look up in your attic and switch it around to check for ghosts.
Right. If you're afraid of a clown or something, yes.
Yeah. There was the town down the street from us. It's called Dixon, Illinois. Somebody went around tying red balloons to all the gutters.
Nice.
Yeah. Well done, peoples. Well done. That's my app for now.
Okay.
What do you got, Door?
Well, I'll bring this one, and I'm purposely bringing it for you because I could see this being the kind of app you might really enjoy. Seriously, I mean, really kind of enjoy. Because you were the one who would also bring live wallpapers to the show,
Mhm.
and to me, this is in the same genre of live wallpapers. It's called NavBar Animations No Root by AX NDX, AX, and X, under personalization, E for everyone, 610 reviews, completely free to download, does have ads, does have in-app purchases. Um, 4.2 average reviews, updated November 2nd, 2017, between 10,000 and 50,000 installs, version 1.3. Um, I like the idea of this because what it enables you to do on compatible devices, if you have the virtual navigation buttons at the bottom, home, back, and recently used, you can animate the background of it with no
Hmm.
root. This is just the kind of thing if you're looking to add, I hate using words like this, but pizzazz, if you want to add that bling, if you want to add that fanciness to your device that catches people's eyes, this actually could be pretty cool. That's all I got to say.
No, you're right. This is totally up my alley. I don't know if it worked. The Pixel launcher on the Pixel is a little bit different because I don't have an apps button down there. My button down at the bottom is just the assistant.
That's fine.
So to get to yeah. So to get to apps, you just swipe up now. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. I could try installing this and taking a look. I like a little something going on down there.
I'm sure you do.
How come everything I say, I guess when you start the night with the word boroscope, it's never going to get better.
Well, and of course, I'm just going to say because Mark isn't here to keep everything.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Our Sultan of the Soapbox is not here to PC us. To PC us.
to keep it straight when the lights is away.
No, I
Because
like a door.
that doesn't make any sense. Excuse
What doesn't?
myself. When the mic's away is away, the kids will play. That doesn't make sense, right? That's wrong, right?
When the mice is away, the kids will play.
I mean, that
But
can't be the right
when
setting.
when something's away, I don't think it's mice. There's something
Oh
when
crikey!
the mum's away.
Look. I'm like brittle
Master.
now. I'm starting to get depressed. Let's talk about another app.
Okay, what you got?
This one I'm going to bring because it is a sister application of OpenStreetMaps. There is nothing on the planet as verbose, as rich, as detailed, as in depth as Google Maps. Thus, everyone knows iOS maps suck. Because they do. Uh,
Now Apple Maps was just driving around a lot lately. They stayed at our hotel for a while, so they're trying.
um, this app is called Street Complete. And what it basically is, it's open street maps. And what they try to do is basically like crowdsource the information. So what happens is you install this app on your device, and then it will ask you questions from time to time about places that are close to you. So you can help fill in the data on the map. Now, in Google Maps, there's a way you can answer questions, and they ask you questions about places like, do they take credit cards? Is there a
Mhm.
long wait? Is this place classy? Does it serve coffee? Does it is it vegan only? Which if it knew me, it wouldn't ask that question. But what this is almost the inverse. It's open street maps, open data. So when you answer the questions, the answers go back to feed into open street map from everything I can tell. Um, so I like this. This to me is another way to give back to a app that's trying to do good. Um, Street Complete by West Nordist, travel and local E for everyone. Completely free, 86 reviews, 4.7 average reviews, updated October 18th, 2017, between 10,000 and 50,000 installs, version 2.3.
Hmm. Have you used the maps of this yet?
I literally just loaded it maybe 3 hours ago. Haven't had time to play with it, but I hope it's going to basically like randomly pop up and say, hey, we see you're by the Home Depot. Does it have adequate parking? Or
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
I think it's called Google Local Guides is what asks you all that kind of stuff, and you can earn points and stuff with Google. I don't even know. I don't know if you can turn them in for anything yet, though.
Uh, right now, no. I believe what they're expecting is you're going to be able to get discounts on certain Google products or services.
Yeah, they can give me a home max for all the questions I've answered for them. That'd be all right.
That would probably be around 3 billion questions.
All right.
Because
Well,
that thing ain't cheap.
they need to start putting the questions during my BBTAN sessions, and then I'll have time to answer them. If they could just like
Oh,
overlay the game so it doesn't stop the game, and I can still answer that question, that'd be good.
see, you're on the wrong show. You need to be on Android developers. That's what you need to be on, Eric.
They don't want to hear my ideas.
Gotcha. Okay, this one I'm going to bring just because I have to. It's in my contract. And by contract, I mean I'm a Linux user. I don't have a choice.
Oh, hey, Door, before you start, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
See, I don't have any cats, so we always play.
Thank you, chat room.
Thank you. Okay. There is only one game not on Nintendo that people agree is the best kart game.
What?
I had to verb that very carefully because the best kart game is Mario Kart. Let's just say that. But off of the Nintendo console, this one is pretty good. It's gotten a lot better over the time, I'll say. So if you haven't tried it in a couple of years, it is much different.
And it's been here forever.
Well, and it's grown up, I'll say. This is called SuperTuxKart. This has been available to download on Linux literally for 10 plus years, I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. At least.
Yeah, and now it's available to download even as an Android application. SuperTuxKart, all one word, SuperTuxKart by DVDEVEEE. Jeez, Racing E for everyone, completely free to download. No in-app ads, no in-app purchases. That's what you get when you use open source, people. 172 reviews, 4.7 average reviews. Updated October 28th, 2017, between 5,000, 10,000 installs. This will not run on extremely low end devices, is what I'll say. And if you notice, there's no video for it in the Play Store.
Nice.
Which we all know means it's a better game. They did just have a major revamp of tracks and stuff like I want to say 3 or 4 days ago. And I do believe the newest of the new tracks are available on this. And this does have multiplayer. I will say I only played it local multiplayer over my own wireless network, and it worked okay. I couldn't tell if there was lag because I was destroying the opponent I was with because, he's a kid of 12 years old. But it worked, and we had fun. He definitely seemed to like it. I don't know if it's going to make him stop watching YouTube videos or stop playing Mario Kart Odyssey or Super Mario Odyssey, but he at least had fun.
So you played locally though, 2 people?
Yeah. Him on his phone, cool. Me on my phone.
Door, this is great news. I'm so happy that you brought this app. I had no idea that TuxKart was available on Android. SuperTuxKart. And it's SuperTuxKart. Because that, SuperTuxKart, that may not be the way that they thought you'd spell it. Unless they've ever done Linux. But man, the reviews on this are so high. I can't wait to play this.
Well, I'll say this.
Pretty smooth?
It ran perfectly fine on my device, yeah. And it ran perfectly fine on his. His is a 3-year-old Oppo 5 Plus, I think it's called. And his ran perfectly fine. I will say they have a very strong community now. So I'm sure as soon as the game launched, all of the community immediately came out, downloaded it, and gave it good reviews.
I've been playing TuxKart a few times a year on systems for the last 10, 15 years. I couldn't tell you the last time I played Mario Kart. So this is my Mario. I mean, this is my Mario Kart. I might have played Mario Kart at a GameStop or something, right. On a Wii.
Well, it's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is a good kart game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I'll bring tonight, Eric. I have a couple more that I'm going to save in my tank.
Yeah, and I got some games that I didn't feel like I was ready to bring to the show yet. I wanted to play them a little more. They're both decent games, but I wanted to see how it went. Well, Dor, thank you for coming out tonight. We'll have Mark probably back next week. Um, I don't have any travel plans coming up, so I should be here for a while. And I want to thank all the Patreon what do we call them? What patrons? Patreon patrons? Pledgers. And I'll tell you what, I'm if you don't feel comfortable with Patreon, just go to podnutz.com and look for the other ways to donate to the show.
Right. But I'll just say this. I'm this close to emailing everyone who's donating $1 a month and asking them to stop, because it's a weird number apparently. And in PayPal, when you do $1 a month, PayPal literally takes like 34 cents out of every dollar.
When you do $1 a month on PayPal?
When you do
Or
$1.
not on Patreon though.
Well, Patreon gets all the money, lets it build up till the end of the month, then gives it to you. PayPal does it whenever it's sent. So every time somebody sends me $1, they take over a third of it away. So I'm tempted to tell the people to stop doing the one once every month, and maybe once a year do $12 or something, because they're paying exorbitant fees and I'm not seeing the actual rewards, is what I'll say.
Yeah, because I personally, Patreon, I get the weird feeling. I don't know. There's something about Patreon. I just don't care for it. So I gave money to Xavier. I don't know how to spell his last name, but from Podcast Addict. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I need to. I bought his app so long ago, and I've been using it so long that I want to throw him a couple more bones. So I threw him $15 via PayPal, which he lives in another country, ended up translating to 12 something, but rather than doing a Patreon with it, I just there's something weird about Patreon. And if you guys also feel that same way, I don't know what it is. It's just a hang up with me. I've got weird things.
Yeah, there's issues. Nothing weird about Patreon. But I will say, here's the good thing: you gave them 12, they might have taken one out of it. Where if it was the US and $1, you know what I mean? If you scale that up, it's like taking $4 away from it, which did not happen because you did, that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patreon takes a low percentage away. I cannot remember the exact percent, but I want to say it's around 10%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but they're providing a service. It connects them. It connects us podcasters to you listeners, and that there's value in that connection. So they should get money, but
and they're expanding their service. They just started a live show. So I can schedule a posting, put the link into here, and then they get the notification. Now I figured it out a half an hour before the show goes live. Then right there on Patreon, they can hit play and watch the show live. Also, while you're logged into Patreon as a Patreon pledger, on the top right-hand side, there's an RSS feed. Really quick message for the guy who left the Patreon message. Man, I can't find his name. Okay. Right there, if you subscribe to that RSS feed, it's no different in your podcast player than subscribing to the real RSS feed. The only difference is you will get the show a half an hour about after we're done hitting stop in this live show. When you go to the public facing podnutz.com feed, you have to wait till Sunday night to get the show. So there's no extra work. All you do is log into Patreon, click that RSS thing, copy it, go into your podcast player of choice, add new feed, paste, and it's the exact same experience you'll get. You'll just get the shows earlier. So there's no extra work getting the audio from Patreon.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a couple ways to donate back to the show. Thank you. I just want to thank you all for listening to the show. And I want to give one more shout out to Kyle for hooking me up with a great deal on an Nexus 6P. And I didn't ask. I didn't want to pry too much. I don't know if the guy's a student or what, but he's been in 20 countries recently, and he's way younger than I am, and I've been in 1 or 2 countries. So yeah, I didn't pry too much. I don't know if he's a student or what, but he was in a college town, so I gotta only assume that. And thank you all for reaching out on the Google Plus and the Patreon notes and everything. and emails. We appreciate them. Once again, hit us up on our email so we can have more content to read on the show, because we like listening to your thoughts. Even if you're giving us some criticism, don't give us too much, because we get triggered and start crying and things like that sometimes. What was the phone number again?
7076 Podnut.
7076 Podnut. We haven't had a voicemail in months, so please give us a voicemail if you feel inclined to it. Just do it. It'll be easy and painless. All right, we will see you next week, hopefully with a full cast of characters. Ta-da.
Don't hit stop.
I won't. I would never hit stop door.
Okay. Now, what I want you to record is something basically saying, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy. I'm going to take this, put this in the beginning of the show.
Okay.
Something like, this week on Android App Addicts, we have a lot of hardware. This week on Android App Addicts, we have hardware news, a Podnutz Android application, and we talk about SuperTuxKart, or you know what I mean? Something like that. Or, this week we delve into BBTAN addiction, kind of thing.
Okay. So you want me to give a little thing like that? Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, Doors Nuts in our chat room is full of show titles. I can't wait to read these, but I'm gonna get a promo done first. Do you want me to start by saying welcome Android App Addicts like that, or
no? On this episode of Android App Addicts.
On this episode of the Android App Addicts, we talk about our longtime favorite TuxKart and a ton of new hardware.
Okay, couldn't stop.
All right. Okay, so we got
487. Now I gotta do this. I gotta fix
that. I want it to grow red. I don't remember that one.
Glow.
Oh, glow red. I want it to glow red.
Glowing, throbbing red.
They think I'm crazy. We're all pixeled up. I'm an Android App Addict. This dude Kyle. Can we do it, this dude Kyle? That'd be pretty cool.
I don't care.
Semi-stiff rope.
Hey, hold on, wait a minute. This guy Kyle's.
This dude Kyle.
And then what was the other one?
Semi-stiff rope. I don't want to put those together too much.
It's a little bit much, but it's funny.
The hose had a kink in it. Switch front or rear camera.
Front or rear.
I like a little something down there.
Okay.
I like a little something down there.
Here. 487, right?
487, yes.
Okay. Oh, it's still going. That's why. Damn it. Big dummy. Wow, this is like the longest export I've seen in a long time on my computer.
Oh, yeah, I got to change my save project as. Save project is for an Audacity project, not an audio file.
Then you
export. It's telling me I'm not an audio file? Yeah.
It just assume your gender?
Yeah, put it. Ooh, I don't even have that. Ooh, wow, this is all new, man. New folder. Podcasts.
This chair is killing me. I hate this chair. I've grown to hate it.
487. Oh, excuse me. So my building's going to be a party store.
Like Party City?
Not a name brand party store.
I mean, like a Party City?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Plus,
how the hell is that gonna be open all year then?
What do
People
you
ain't
mean?
doing that kind of stuff all year.
Well, plus, what do you mean? There's parties all the time. My girl wants to
Hey,
party all the time. You remember that song?
unfortunately, yes.
I knew you would like that one. That is Eddie Murphy's at his best singing.
Oh, yeah, it's best. Yeah. Who wrote the song?
I mean, who wrote the song?
I'm asking you who wrote the song.
Eddie Murphy.
Wrong.
Lionel Richie.
Eh.
I don't know.
Rick James.
Oh.
Any self-respecting.
How am I supposed to know that?
Any
Wave.
self-respecting.
What was that? Wave, right? Ogvorbus 8.
8. Agavobus, yes. Yeah. So, Eric, are you going to look for cheap plane tickets late April?
Man, late April.
Late
I
April.
thought it was February.
Well, that's that. And then there's another one in April.
Well, what's the one we need to go to?
Well, I'm going to both. But
well, I didn't even know about the late April one.
In February, it's Orlando to see Steve C and go to Podfest. And then late April, up in Doors Nuts area of the U.S., we have Lennox Fest Northwest.
Yeah.
It didn't sound good, did it, Doors Nuts?
Doors Nuts, LFNW. Linux for the Northwest.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to... You owe me, Eric. True.
Okay, so what are we going with?
I'm gonna pack my discs too if I get out there.
This dude Kyle.
I'm bringing them with me.
This dude Kyle ... like an anal probe.
This dude, because I want to bring. If we're gonna talk about this dude Kyle, we also need to talk about the chick from John Deere. They're both face baggers that I bought my phones off of. Eric talks about his experiences.
That's too long. You've already went too long.
Yeah, Eric.
Just say no.
Hardware from John Deere and this dude Kyle. How about that? Is that Josh? Is that acceptable? Hardware from this dude Kyle and John Deere. Yeah, this dude Kyle and John Deere.
Upload. Edit. Copy. Come here. Come over here. Come closer, young one. We're going to paste that. We're going to say 487. Come over here. We're going to say upload the video. Oh, yeah. 487.
Face baggers I bought shit from. There you go. That's one way to say it. I'll be right back.
Now, already had it open. Isn't that convenient? Just so happened I had that already. We only brought 8 apps. For shame. For shame, I say. I say. Replace. Close. Control C. Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Paste. Close. Don't want to screw that up. Don't want to screw that up. This one is unlisted. This one has a custom thumbnail. Okay. That would be fun to try. But then the first time it hits a tree boom. What the hell is that? I've lost it. I lost it a while ago.
It's just in. I have an update.
Okay, well, what is that? Would be fun to try, but the first time it hits a tree.
Boom. He's gonna 3D print a frisbee disc, a disc golf disc.
Oh no.
Yeah.
If you print it in like TPU, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think it ran
Have you ever hit a tree with Have you ever hit a tree with your disc?
I haven't printed anything with TPU.
No, Have you ever taken a disc and hit a tree with it? Seen them break. Even the real ones that aren't printed off. Okay, so here's the show title. New
Okay, and here's the advice I have for you, Eric.
hardware.
We need to get you a better router.
Oh, do I? Me?
We need to get you a better router so you can put your kids' devices on a QoS schedule. That when the show starts, it drops their priority and packet.
I may have that option.
Okay. What's the show title? Kyle.
New hard. I'm typing it up. This is going to get all the farmers tuning in because their RSS feed's just going to see the word John Deere and new hardware, and they were like, Android on my tractor. Hells yeah. Give me some of that.
First off, you'll be shocked at the number of podcast listeners who are long haul truck drivers.
Well, I know that.
And then you would be shocked by the number of farmers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was talking to a guy on his tractor the other day. He was Bluetoothed in because he was renting farmland from us.
Yeah, because the amount of boredom time
it did not have a good connection first.
Well,
so that's the show title I'm going with. What do you think? New hardware from John Deere and this dude Kyle.
I leave it up to DoorToDoorGeek.
DoorToDoorGeek.
He's the final say.
Yeah.
Because I've proven I can't name shows well. I've proven multiple times that I cannot name shows well at all. And correct me if I'm wrong, DoorToDoorGeek, but you heard double audio for most of that show.
Oh, really?
I'm thinking he heard one of them only had a very slight, like millisecond delay.
Funny you should mention that. I was doing an RRDA cleanup a couple years ago. At our local hotel, there was a farmers only meetup.
Yeah,
during
like
our event. They had a farmers only meetup. That was funny.
I'm sure. Yeah, but let me do this. Because I'm going to come here. I'm going to click this. I'm going to click.
He said it sounded good, Door.
Well, I want to see something. I'm going to turn the volume up all the way. Okay.
Oh, you think he was hearing an echo or something from one of your rigs or something?
Testing the audio for double. Testing the audio for double.
You said it twice. That's not fair. Cheater. Oh, Door.
Hold on.
I'm going to need your...
I think it just made it louder.
Yeah, but you stop saying it twice. That's not fair. You're cheating.
No, stop, man. No, I'm pretty sure it just made it louder because when I come here, I guess there was no delay. Is what I'm going to say. When I come here, I'll see you guys can't see it. Maybe if I do this. Yeah. With this unmuted, you see two bounce meters going. And when I'm thinking, all it did was make the show louder.
Amplified it.
So when I do that, it just sended it over normal volume. And because I didn't hear any real echo at all. It just sounded loud. I guess loud's good.
I'm gonna need the website for the OwnCloud.
Got your creds handy?
Probably, maybe. I got LastPass installed, maybe, hopefully.
Google Hangout. Well then, yeah, with LastPass it should be in there.
Yeah.
That was an accident.
Privacy error. Oh yeah, right. Whatever.
Yeah, add exception because it's a self-signed cert and it's so unsafe. Oh man. Yeah, I literally have 4 rolls of TPU. I haven't printed anything yet.
Oh yeah. So you could print out some discs.
Okay, so he was good with the show title.
Yep. Yeah. Let's go with that. New hardware from John Deere and this dude Kyle. You see it up there?
Yes, let me
Because you
see
got to
this.
share it. You got to. If you put it in that way, Johnny Davis might listen.
Yeah, right. Don't hold your breath on that one.
She's
Oh, I
probably got
know,
her
but she ain't.
news feed, her Google alert set.
She's too busy playing VR games.
I know that I'm jealous too.
You think that would work for her? Oh yeah, TPU, I guarantee you. And just ask Liam. Liam would know immediately. I guarantee you his answer is yes. The only question is you're going to have to make it a little bit more dense than you normally print things. So it isn't just flopping all over the place. It actually has some rigidity to it. But because it's TPU, you could slam that thing full blast into a tree, wouldn't even have mark.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I'll put money on it. I have no problem. I love money, Eric. You want to put money on it? You put money on it. I'll print one. I'll throw the damn thing
And
right
it's
to the
going to
side
be
of my house.
rigid enough. It's going to be rigid enough to be usable at the same time.
First off, I've had
Not breaking.
frisbees that are like this, that I throw them and I can throw those damn things far. So, what do you mean by that? Because I've had frisbees that are not rigid that fly. I'm sorry, I've
Yeah.
had disc. I've had disc.
Okay. Yeah. There's a line though. I mean, Doors Nuts knows what I'm talking about. It's got it.
I'll, dude, I've thrown frisbees.
I'd love to try it. I'm just
Without
going to say
sounding
that.
stupid, every year of elementary school where we had our athletic competition, every year I won the frisbee contest. I understand frisbees, Eric. At least a little.
Okay. But have you thrown one at about 82 miles an hour into a tree at like
I've
3
had them
feet?
break. I've had them break from hitting things. Had to curve over and hit the side of the school and break.
I had my dad played disc golf. You know, I come from a long line of disc golfers, right? So my dad played disc golf. He knocked a guy's tooth out with it
Oh
one
my
time at a
goodness.
bar. Yeah, you know, he wasn't even close to the guy.
Well, the edge can be hard, I will say that. But
Did not hear the
you're
word
saying
for.
I think the game I told you about this, didn't I? Golf RPG, Golf Story on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I think you did talk about that.
It's really good. I mean, it's an RPG game. So you defeat the army of darkness using your golf club and golf balls, hitting them out, kind of things. But there's also rebel disc golf players
They are too. They're rebels.
that take over a course and they call theirs disc golf and they call the other golf, what is it, ball golf? I think.
All
It's funny.
right.
And it is hard. It's not easy. Hitting the golf ball is so much more easy than throwing that damn disc and not hitting trees and stuff. But yeah, well, that game was a hell of a lot of fun.
Golf with balls.
Yeah, golf with balls. I love that.
A buddy of his knocked a guy out. Yeah, there's some velocity on them discs, man. Yeah, I the I'm trying to remember. The disc golf I use the most is the Scro. But I can't remember. I think it's CRO, but I added an S to it. Don't worry, Scro. Plenty of tards living
Right.
kick-ass lives.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was so fun. I even knew that. And I will say this, Eric. Second degree separated shoulder. This is my right arm. I can't throw a baseball. I can't throw a football without looking like somebody with a mental disability. Is what I want to say. Because the
yeah.
shoulder is so bad. I believe I can throw a frisbee just fine because it's not
Oh
overheating.
yeah. So doors in too, Josh.
I'm pissed I didn't join him the last time.
Me too. Me too. I was peified, man. That was dumb for me not to go play frisbee golf, Josh.
Okay, it says your thing is downloaded. Yeah, 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 yeah. Where's the file?
Or you've never seen Jimmy Kimmel's YouTube challenges where they steal the
I don't see
so
anything
good.
he's ever done
So good.
before because he's not funny.
He is no part of these.
Well, it
It's
doesn't
the
matter.
rest of the world.
Nobody can top, as far as I can tell, Johnny Carson or David Letterman for just wit and humor. Everyone today is so lowbrow. It's just really tacky, bad. Um, I will say I did see a highlight though from Jimmy Kimmel when Jimmy Kimmel wasn't on, and Dave Grohl.
And he was the one talking about it. He was the one talking about it.
Oh, then I guess I didn't watch it all. You just called me, but he actually kind of looked like David Letterman. That was great.
He looked just like David Letterman.
So, dude, I cannot believe this. This is the closest maybe in history.
Dork.
My file is 77.6. Your file is 77.4.
Look at
Yeah,
this.
there you go. There you go.
That comes up because it was the last thing I was listening to on my way home from work.
The more I hear about that guy, the more I like him.
I don't even know who he is. I couldn't even, no
Uh,
idea who he is.
He's the lead singer. Not lead singer. He's the Foo Fighter guy. The
Okay,
band.
I kind of got that out of it. Yeah, that's right.
He's cool. Every time he tells a story about anything on any kind of interview thing, you can tell there's somebody there going like this. No, 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 no. But he tells a story anyway because he's like, yeah, I remember like when I was a kid, I remember having this dream, that I wanted to like be a rock star, and like I went up to this girl and I asked her to go to the date with me, and she said, "It's like, what are you gonna do with your life?" I said, "I'm gonna be a rock star," and she laughed and she walked away. Well, who's laughing now?
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
stupid stuff like that. It's just great.
Small detail. And this dude should be small letters.
No, it can't.
Not caps.
That's not how titles work.
No.
Titles in books and movies are cased.
Let's go to the producer.
I
Hey,
don't
Josh.
I don't have to. They're one of the few classes I passed was 8th grade English. And proper titles have the first letter of every word in a caps.
No.
I would love to. I love money. You want to bet money on this one?
I'm not. Josh. Tell us.
I'm
here.
going to believe a Canuck.
He's just across the thing. Do we want all of that capital? The first letter of all of them capitalized?
That's the way books and titles and like even chapter headings when chapters have names, when you look at the table of contents of proper material, everything that is in the table of contents, the first letter is capitalized.
No, we're not spelling dude like that. That's how Canadians spell dude, I guess.
If that's the case, that's pretty funny.
It rhymes with food. It must be spelled that way.
It must be that must be.
All right. Doris seems to know. Okay. All right. Doris, right.
Social engineering 101.
I don't write any. It's not like I type all day for my job or anything. That's cool though. and write letters nonstop. That's whatever.
Titles. And,
Nothing should be capitalized unless it's a title
okay, you ready?
or a name.
Capitalization, the principal word. The principal words of a title include the first and last word of that title, which you should always capitalize.
First and last word of that title, which I do have handled in that title I wrote. First and last word are capitalized.
Up,
He throws a baseball like a card, but he seems to know.
There you go. Their third example, every word except for A.
What about the first and second example?
The second example, I'm also right. So 2 out of 3 times, I'm right.
Principal words. Yeah, they still no, you're wrong in every one of those instances.
No, I'm not.
All of those. Okay, the second one, you're right. Okay, the second one. The second one. 2 of the 3 you got wrong. I'm just
No,
saying.
2 out of 3 I got right.
No. There's
Yeah.
a small A in
And there
the
is no
last
A in
one.
ours. There is no A in ours. Our show doesn't have the word A in it.
No, it's a word
What is
and this or
Oh, what is not capitalized? A, for, so, and, in, the, and, nor, to, at, of, up. Up? What the hell did up get in there? But, on, yet, by, or. That's a
this
lot more.
dude.
That's a lot more
From.
than I thought. What? Are you high?
Yeah.
So,
All right.
but this is. So that's the
That's
only
fine.
word. Like that.
What's that?
Now it's
Computer?
capitalized. What? What?
From though? From?
It's from isn't in the
From's not.
list.
It's not in the list.
What not to capitalize?
From's not in there.
No. Look at it. A, for, so,
Oh.
and, in, the, and, nor, to, at, of, up, but, on, yet, every time I say but, by, or.
See, he took the capital out of from also.
Weird.
Well, in the final draft at the bottom of our chat room.
Jesus. Well, that's him.
He's the one who he
That's how they
writes
do
our
it in Canada.
he writes our show titles, dude. What are you gonna do? Argue with
I
it?
can only relinquish so much control on any given night.
I'm gonna say that's a perfect negotiation and compromise right there. What he has come across there. It's got a lot of capitals. It's got
Do you want to know
very
why it's not? Because in the perfect compromise, both parties feel like they lost. If I do that, he wins. He knows he
I don't think hardware
knows
or
he
dude should be capitalized. So I really am down about this. So there you go.
maybe prepositions are.
Send it to press.
Don't make me. Executive decision.
What's that coin flip app?
I don't trust it. The NSA is watching it.
I think Josh is right there. That's a good compromise for both of us.
That's how I know you're full of crap. You're smiling when you say it. That means you won. I can't let it happen.
What are you, union? Are you in the union or something?
I'm adhering to Mark Cockrell's ideals, which is for a truly fair compromise to take place, both parties must feel like they got screwed.
Oh man. See, he's the executive producer. You got to go with what he says. Is that what what do you say, exec? He gets all the hookers and blows, so.
Oh.
Or I don't know, in his case it might be
Goat milk and
Canuck chicks and weed. I don't know.
And
I don't know.
no, the cheese, the poutine.
And bad tacos.
Why does poutine sound so much like Putin?
Poutine.
So is poutine actually Russian or something?
I think you guys told me what poutine was when I was there, but totally forgot.
You weren't
I don't even
there,
know what
there.
it is.
It's cheese curds. It's basically unfinished cheese, but it's absolutely delicious.
Oh, cheese curds are great. Squeaky cheese.
But
Squeaks in your teeth when you eat it.
yeah, but but why is it poutine and Putin's name is Putin? Does that mean poutine's actually Russian, or does that mean he's actually French Canadian?
If it makes you feel better, he feels screwed from the time he started listening tonight. Oh, is there a way to refund Patreon money to people
Welcome
who
to
have to
my
put up with this
world.
shit?
Welcome to my world. That's why I don't watch TV. Now you know how I feel. I'm just paying it forward.
I got
Cheese
my
curds.
receipt, man. Give me my money back. Cheese curds on gravy on
Yeah.
fires and fries. It's French.
Yeah, they put the gravy on there
Mm,
too. Gravy on
that sounds
fries
pretty good.
is. I can't eat fries anymore. So
Also, I didn't talk to you guys about the thing I just tried that I
so
never
Doors nuts. I got this for you for mentioning fries. You know what this is?
8 fingers.
It's a flock of these. That's what it is.
So you ever heard of a horseshoe? Other than one that goes on a horse? Okay, so a
I don't know
horseshoe
what to say.
turns out to be a local delicacy in Illinois. I've lived here my entire life and just had one for the first time today, or this year, this month. No, last month. And I've had 2 now. So,
Is
it's
it
a
anything like the mule drink or something?
no, it's not a Moscow Mule. A horseshoe is a food. It's a piece of Texas toast on a plate, and then it's either Angus hamburger, breaded chicken breast, or some sort of ham, and then French fries all on top of that. No bun, just that
So
one piece of toast, and then some sort of white cheese sauce poured over top of all of it.
so it's like an open face sandwich basically.
Yeah, with no gravy, just
But the cheese is going to determine whether or not it's good or not. Yeah, because good cheese, you know.
you like the Prodigy?
What?
Do you like the Prodigy?
I
Crank the pitch up.
I never used Prodigy. I was an AOL guy.
Oh, I think Josh knows what I'm talking about. He's familiar with the Prodigy.
I like dual core.
Yeah, I haven't heard him for a while.
Just released some new stuff last week.
Did they? Well, I'm installing that in my Google. Let's see if they're in there. Google Play Music, dual core.
Honestly, I don't think it's there yet.
How about the new Hobson song? You like that? Witch Doctor? You like that one?
No, I don't like anything basically made in the last 20 years. Basically.
Yeah. The Prodigy had a great song called Slap My Bitch. Are we still live?
He's listening, ain't he?
Oh, never mind. I'm not going to say that. The name of their
Then
song.
yes, he is. We are live. He's able to respond.
Oh, this has gone too far then. Pierogies. Oh, pierogies are the best. Pierogies are great.
I can't eat pierogies either.
No, I'm not saying that they're good for you. They're just okay.
Thanks, Josh.
How did you eat them? Because we
Pierogies?
bought. Yeah. How did you eat them?
Usually was with like a chicken like stock gravy, like you know.
See, we bought them. We didn't know what to do with them. So basically, we fried them in butter and put uh green peppers and onions in with
Yeah,
them.
that sounds really good. I'll go for that.
That's all we did.
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable. So I don't know.
Google Play.
All the things dual core. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was years ago. So it isn't. It didn't hit yet. On Google Play, he has 4 albums.
I,
Zero
I
one.
I remember buying Natural 20s. Is that one of the albums?
No, it must be a single.
He has 16 albums on here.
16?
Mm-hmm.
DUAL space CORE.
Yeah.
I see 4 on mine. Am I in the wrong app or something? Oh, I'm in Google Play, not Google Play Music. Might be a good reason why.
I wish I could sort this by newest.
It should if you go to the artist dual core and then you go to albums. Yeah, it's sorted. Yeah, what are you talking about? 16 albums. There's 4 albums.
No, 16.
Yes. No. Then you're doing something wrong.
Hey, look at my phone. See that? See what it says?
Go up because you didn't select the artist. You have to
Yes.
select the artist, and then your top of your screen will look like that with dual core at the top. And then you scroll down, and there's 4 albums. Me not
All right.
crazy.
Well, what's these other ones then?
They have dual core in the title, but it's not him.
Oh,
Or they
gotcha.
or they have a
My bad.
song in there called dual core.
It wasn't even dual core saying natural 20s. Was it?
I'm not. I don't know. I can't say
Yeah,
you're
dual core, natural 20s.
okay.
But yeah, so that's I bought that album live while they were being interviewed by Steve Cherubino on Podnutz.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think it was an album. I think it was I can't remember the word for it. It wasn't an
It was Next
EP.
Level. Next Level was the name of the album. Dual Natural
Ah,
20s was the song.
gotcha. Yeah, I got him on the interview just because I wanted to get him more eyeballs. Because he was really good in Ohio. That's all I gotta say. And I liked him because he was a genuine hacker.
I remember drinking natural ice or natty ice as we like to call it. Oh yeah,
Ugh,
yeah. I'll tear up some natty ice.
I don't think I could stomach it anymore.
Um, I don't know, man. I'm still drinking leftover. These were left in my cooler.
Beer 30?
No, nobody drinks beer 30.
Oh, Bush Light.
Yeah, it's in the new safety orange can, so the hunters don't get shot while they're drinking their beer.
Yeah.
It's hunting season.
Some podcasters amaze me. Sent this guy a message literally a month ago. Well, maybe not a month ago. I literally got a reply tonight.
Are the makers in the house? I mean, the makers in the house. We don't
He
let those
is.
guys on this show. They're way too professional for this show, man. Drinking Bomber IPA. I still don't like IPA.
Stand it.
I've never found one I really cared for yet.
Well, at least he says the first thing right. Hello, Stephen. I apologize for not answering you sooner. I was wrong. It was October 16th I sent the message.
Well, that's not bad.
He says, "Hello, Stephen. What do you say that ain't bad? That's like 3 weeks, man.
Well, he apologized though.
Hello, Stephen. I apologize for not answering sooner, but you can go ahead and send any messages or requests through here. You can also
Why?
go to the comments section during our live broadcast. Was there anything specific you wanted to talk about?" Yes, I wanted to beg you to
Shut the
please
fuck.
stop screaming in the very beginning of the show. Your audio peaks and distorts this TORTS and distorts very badly. Side note. establishing credibility. I've been podcasting
Oh man, a
for
heavenly Hawaiian
about
cappuccino sounds really good.
10 years and can help with audio quality or audio post production workflows. If you would like to see if you can get better quality. New message. I like your passion. Remember the insult compliment thing? I like your passion. I also like how you guys dig into games a little deeper than other shows do. They've given that little compliment there. That's one thing I can't stand, and I can't stand no more. Oh, Caleb figured out how to get the Twitter postings to automatically cause a notification on the Android app.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I just looked and I saw that the notification said the Android app is going live. Ow.
The Zamboni get you, Eric?
Chad showed up.
Oh yeah.
I'm not as drunk as when they do the makers. All right, guys, I got to drop off here and I got to produce the
I
show.
kept thinking that was Josh. I didn't realize I was talking to because he's got the same color as Josh's. I didn't realize I was talking to two different people, man.
Guys, I got to do the post production.
All right, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go take a bath and get fucking poop faced. I gotta stop. I keep forgetting I'm live, man. I'm sorry.
Take it easy, guys.
All right, talk to you later.